Hello everyone, this is James Leffingwell reporting from the Gma transmission station with today's breaking news. Hideo Kojima has been released from Konami's dungeon of death and horror and despair, and has now formed his own independent studio named Kojima Studios. Kind of funny. I'm actually surprised that he's able to keep the exact same name. You would figure with how screwed Konami's lawyers have been, that they would try to find a way to make it to where he couldn't use that name again, given Konami is Konami, as Jim Sterling likes to say. Oh, man. Well, where to start here? There's a couple of things. Number one, obviously, this is really great. I didn't think that he was going to be able to kind of get the ball rolling as quickly as he did, to be honest. The fact that he's made this announcement over Twitter, and just the fact that he's already up and going, and he's actually made a business deal with Sony for his first project, which is going to be a brand new IP, mind you, meaning no Metal Gear Solid, sadly no Zone of the Enders 3, as much as I'd love to see Zone of the Enders 3. That would make me so happy. It looks like he's going to be making a brand new IP, and he's going to receive some level of help from Sony, making him, at the moment, I guess you would say, a second-party developer for Sony. It is a console exclusive, however, which means that we might get a PC version of whatever he's working on next. All we know for sure is that he's receiving some level of support from Sony. So just a couple of thoughts here. Number one, as I said, I'm kind of sad that we're not going to get Zone of the Enders 3, but hey, that was a pipe dream in and of itself. I knew it. I knew it was a pipe dream. I can live. I'll survive. Number two, and I think it's kind of the most interesting thing, is I really think that this was in the works for a little while. I'm willing to bet these talks were going on quite some time ago, and this is just pure speculation, but I'm pretty sure that if it wasn't for Konami's lawyers, that this announcement probably would have been made at PSX, at the PlayStation Experience Convention, because, man, that would have been amazing. Just the fact that this news is coming out literally right after PSX makes me think that this Sony really would have loved to have this at PSX. I think that would have been the end for their keynote, and it would have been made that show so much stronger. I know there are a lot of people who were very disappointed in how that show kind of went, and I know there are people looking for much bigger announcements. So I really think that this was supposed to be announced at PSX, and that it was the same wonderful lawyers that stopped Hideo Kojima from being able to be able to come up and accept his awards at the Jeff Keighley's Game Awards. So it's an interesting new day. I think that probably the best move, to be honest, was for this to happen this way. I know Microsoft probably would have killed to have, Hideo Kojima's next game be a, console exclusive for them. However, I really don't think that, one, Microsoft would be willing to throw the kind of money at Kojima that Kojima would want. And I don't think that Microsoft would have given him the same level of creative freedom. And what I mean by that is, take David Cage, for example. David Cage's games are interesting to say the least. However, he is given an extreme amount of creative freedom and an extreme amount of financial backing for his projects, given how well or how well they don't sell, depending on how you want to phrase that. So, something like a David Cage, I don't think would be, held up by a company like Microsoft. So it's hard to say to what degree Hideo Kojima would have gotten the support that he wanted by going with, Microsoft and the Xbox One for his console exclusive. So I really think this is probably the best move for Kojima, and I personally wish him all the luck in the world. I really like his level of storytelling. I really like what he does with the projects that he works on. I'm not a personal fan of the Metal Gear Solid series just because shooters aren't really my thing. So it'll be nice to see him working on a new IP. Hopefully it'll be something very, very different from Metal Gear Solid. He's said for years that he wanted to stop working on Metal Gear, and it sounds like to a degree Konami was holding his feet to the fire over the years to continue to work on that project and keep pumping out new ones and new ones and new ones and new ones and new ones. So it'll be nice to see what that crazy, crazy mind can do with hopefully a pretty sizable check from Sony, a great deal of creative freedom, having his own independent studio. I think this is really the best. I know there are a lot of people who wanted to see Kojima go to a platform like Kickstarter so that the fans could, fundraise, his game, and it could be, completely independent, if you will. But I don't think that would have ever happened. I don't think it would have happened to the degree where Kojima would have gotten the kind of money that he needed, that he will need, to do something on a Kojima-level scale. I hate to go back to David Cage again, but, with David Cage, his games are not cheap. His games are big-budget AAA titles, and I could see Kojima wanting to do something, in that same vein of quality, if you will. So I think that he would have never gotten that kind of money from Kickstarter. It's as simple as that. I don't think he would have ever gotten that kind of money from Kickstarter. So this is... I really think this is the best possible scenario. I really, really do. In the in the description, in the doobly-doo, if you will, I will have a link to a full report, a full news article done by Giant Bomb, in which there is also a video in that news article that is the, let's say, kind of announcement, or I believe it's actually an interview with Kojima, kind of, discussing this, new move, this new change, this new studio. So links to the article will be below. Be sure to leave any comments, any thoughts, any ideas. I'd love to have a conversation with you guys in the comments about, kind of how everyone else feels about this. These are just my opinions, and I'm just here to, deliver the facts and let you know what I think. So be sure to like if you like this video, dislike if you dislike this video. This is kind of the first breaking news segment we've recorded for the Gmod transmission station. There will be more of these in the future, and also, of course, there will be a podcast coming up starting next year that's going to be a full-size podcast with graphical features to help with all the different news stories that we'll be doing hopefully every other week. That'll be covering kind of all of the industry news, and that's how a lot of the smaller stories are going to be coming out from now on through the Gmod transmission station, is via this new podcast that'll be formed by myself and a few other members of the Gmod transmission team. So look forward to that. Be sure to like, comment, and of course subscribe. This is James Leffingwell from the Gmod Transmission Station News Desk, signing out.